Hey, I'm Nick Thompson,
And I'm Patrick Allen.
and we're two of the International Family Medicine Fellows for this year out of the five. I'm originally from Nebraska and went to medical school at University of Iowa and did residency at Christi.
And then I went to Texas A&M for undergrad, and then University of Texas in Houston, where I'm from, for medical school, and also did residency here at Christi.
I have three other members of our residency class that are doing the fellowship and are currently over in Niger and Rwanda. We're back for this 6 months of the fellowship, doing extra rotations, including burns and trauma, ultrasound, dentistry, and we also help fund some of the fellowship through some locums work.
We just got back from about 5 months in Niger, which is the currently the least developed nation in the world. Has a very high child mortality, maternal mortality. It was pretty crazy. I'd been several other places before, but this was definitely the most medically needy. We got to be moderately comfortable with severe malnutrition and typhoid, HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, a lot of different pathology that we had learned about in our tropical medicine course and exceeded our expectations for how much we learned.
At the very start of the fellowship is a 6-week tropical medicine course that we take at the University of West Virginia, and it's a great tropical medicine course because it's very practical to the developing world. And the great part about the fellowship is that you learn all of this information that they skimmed over in medical school that had little to no importance, and then all of a sudden you're going to an area where there is malaria and typhoid and tuberculosis, and people have HIV and new AIDS diagnosis frequently, and so we were able to very quickly apply a lot of the principles and knowledge that we had from that tropical medicine course very quickly while we were overseas. So for both of us, a big reason why we did the fellowship was we plan on doing international missions in the future, and a large majority of that, as we've learned and experienced, isn't necessarily just doing medicine. It's cross-cultural leadership
and how to make changes and just building relationships and learning local language. And
for me specifically, my wife and I and our 2 children were interested in figuring out whether long-term international medical missions were something that our family could do and that we would thrive in, and really confirmed a lot for us that working in an international setting was for us and for our family.
Mm-hmm. All right, so one thing that that was hugely valuable, we did a lot of obstetrics at Christi, and so we got worked into the obstetrics call in Niger, covering C-sections and DNCs, and we got to do some tubals also. Most of the cases that we did there were exceedingly complicated. Eclampsia, uterine ruptures, complicated uterine tears and extensions from malnourished tissue.
Lots of bleeding, no suction.
Twins, triplets. So it was an incredible surgical experience, and definitely increased my confidence in practicing obstetrics, even locally but abroad as well.
The fellowship often gets focused on the fellows themselves, but my wife had a cool impact while we were there. She really connected with one of our Nigerian friends that helped us in our home, and was even able to gain enough language and become a big enough part of her life to actually help her start a bread making business that she continued after we left, and that kind of impact, especially in building relationships with the locals there, really brought a lot of depth to that the time that we were there.
So practicing in a setting like this was pretty emotionally overwhelming and definitely really hard work. Fellowship usually tries to send people together, and so that was helpful. So it was tough, but never have I felt more useful or that I was so equipped to make a difference.